Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CLSR, and I'm your host, the counselor. Today, we're going to be talking about how to find a great person, a great guy. Matter of fact, you've been looking and looking, and you found some guys, but they're not quite exactly what you want. It looks good initially, however, for some reason, you're not pulling the trigger on this one. I mean, you would like to find somebody who can understand you, work with you, build something together, care about you, and love you for you, not pass judgment. Someone who's there for you, who can give you some care, who can show you that you can have a future together. Where is that guy? How come that guy is harder to find today more than ever? I think a lot of these guys um, out there, they're great guys. However, you're having difficulty nailing one down, finding one. You might have to go through a number of them. I mean, let's get real about the situation. Most of them just want to hook up. See, because if I could be free, I'm going to be free. And then you are trying to fight that. See, trying to get a good guy takes some work for sure. But work on what? Well, the truth is, we have to work on ourselves and figure out what's going on with ourselves. Do we understand certain things about men that we need to be understanding? See, you can't have a great guy if you can't do a few things. There are a few things that you're going to have to do. See, there's a problem, and you're going to have to look at that problem. See, we need to uncover the problem and the cause of the problem of why you can't find a great guy and why you're having difficulty getting one or sustaining one, right? We need to look at the problem and we need to look at what we should be looking out for. You don't want another guy who's not able to commit, who just wants some attention, who wants to jump in and out of the covers. That's not what you're looking for. They're around every corner. Everywhere you see, they're there. That's the easy thing. But the real guy, the one you really want, a man, well, we have to understand. Number one, we have to understand the cues, how to manage a relationship, and how to get what you want out of that relationship. See, many people look outside to explain why things have gone wrong and why they haven't been successful. What's this failure all about? Well, see, one major issue that we have is that we're always trying to look externally for blame, right? If we don't get the promotion, if we don't get the job, if we don't succeed at one thing or the other, who did this to me? It's not my fault. I'm not responsible or accountable. And then when you have this attitude where you look everywhere but at yourself, that is a major issue. And this is what we're going to focus on to a certain extent. We have to stop looking elsewhere. And no, don't listen to what your friends say. It's not true. It's you. It's the moves you're making. I mean, it's quite typical for a lot of people to go looking for men in bars or they get involved in the online dating, and that's quite common. However, what you don't understand is that the truth is that the men out there are in places that you wouldn't expect. However, you're not really looking or you're misinterpreting the signs. It's not necessarily on those dating sites or in those bars or waiting for the odd party that you can get together and hopefully seek for the Mr. Right. That's not where they are. They're actually out there. However, your radar, it's broken. There's something going on. And that's what we need to talk about. There is a disconnect, a major disconnect between what the woman thinks the purpose of men's thoughts and actions are and what they actually are. Now, I got to tell you, it's not all your fault. Not all of it. I mean, you're not supposed to know what a man's thinking, but you need to learn to understand, man. See, this disconnect is a major issue, and this is why you have not been successful in your connection, because you haven't taken the time to really understand a man and how he thinks, what his motives, his intentions. You've assumed for the longest time, based on what you heard or what you were told, all men are dogs, and this is what they know. That's what you were told. What is really the truth? And I think if you look outside yourself and you take a little time to learn a little bit, then you will learn that this disconnect could be reversed. You could actually understand how to get a great man. You see, your mind, your subconscious mind, and your unconscious mind, see, they have a tendency to mess with you in an effort to protect you from this uncomfortableness of this thing called the truth. See, your mind's at play here. That's why it makes it easy for you to blame someone else when you know deep down inside it's your fault. And we do this. All of us do this at one point or another. We seek those external causes for your problems. When you do that, you're not able to address the problem because you're putting the blame elsewhere. So you got to look within in order to fix things. And one of it is low self-esteem and low confidence, and there are a few signs of this low self-esteem and low confidence out there. You're likely to be pretty close to solving these problems if you can work this out. Once you find the root of the cause, you can cut it off and start to grow. You can work through this self-esteem and this confidence and be on your way to some serious growth. And honestly, you will make connections, unbelievable connections. But we have to look at ourselves. What are some of these characteristics that are in us that we're not addressing? We're not admitting. We're pointing the finger out there. It's so easy for us to do that. Well, I would have to say, are you one of those needy people? Neediness equals low confidence. See, because when you're needy, you need a man to feel whole. And this is not a healthy way to be in a relationship. The problem is there's something missing in your life. But it's not that man. It's true happiness. It comes from being true to yourself. You can find this when you look at your personal values and live a life to honor your values, right? If you have a good health and engage in unhealthy behavior, you're not valuing yourself, So if you value money but blow every dollar because you're trying to fill that void, you're not living your true life. You're not respecting your values. So instead of trying to fill the void with things, uncover your values and work towards living in a productive manner, you will find that you're going to have to get rid of these negative behaviors. Start working towards ending behaviors that are barriers to your success. Like, are you an individual that has this list of criteria for the right guy? See, once you do that, that is a barrier. And most men can't meet all the criteria, right? You have to put your heart out there and just get it broken again. Look at your list. Can any man meet these requirements? What does your list say about finding a man? You need to make sure that you find a man, a great guy, whose values and beliefs are aligned with yours. You don't want to find a guy who may want to travel around the world if you're not interested in travel. You don't want a guy who's not interested in children if you eventually want to have a family. And trying to convince him or convert him is very problematic. See, you're not being truthful with yourself at this point. You're trying to save him or feel that you can change him. No, that's not going to help at all. It's not being true to you. And when you meet a guy, are you quick to dismiss him or write him off because you have this expectation of an immediate spark? Many women do that. They go on the first few dates, and what do they find? They find that, let's see how it goes for these first few dates. And if I don't feel that spark, then he's not the guy for me. Well, when you first meet a guy, don't expect immediate spark. Don't look at him from this date as if you're planning a wedding. Just sit back and begin to learn who he truly is. This will take you a lot further. And have fun without the pressure of predicting the future, especially looking at milestones that may never exist. Give things time to develop. Men rarely fall in love immediately, or even on a fifth date. They fall in love in a kind of, ooh, really, aha moment. They realize that they'd rather be with you than their friends. They suddenly realize they're still intrigued by you and still chasing you after 4 or 5 months. You want to do the same. Don't mistake lust for love. You know, I know a lot of women have this biological clock that many of us men don't understand, but you're going to have to be patient and not jump the gun. You have to think, though, that sometimes it may be a little easier on you to be alone rather than to settle. Waiting for this perfect guy, it's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as you know what he looks like when he does show up on the scene. You see, the longer you wait, the more perfect he must be. You tell yourself that you're not getting any younger, or you're only going to do this once, and you place a lot of pressure on this relationship. See, we could be nitpicky, come up with all these fake things, like you don't like the way he stands, or the way he wears his shirt, or he has a man bun, or he's a little bit overweight. You don't want to date a garbage man or a dentist or a truck driver. See, when you're not confident, you believe being alone is better than settling for fake flaws. See, you need to come up with 3 must-haves, right? Do you share the same faith? Do you like to go out to bars together? Do you like to travel? See, when you are not confident, believing that being alone is what you do, you believe it's better to be alone than to deal with these little things. But they might be big things to you. So what I must say is that you have to come up with 3 must-haves, at least 3. If you're into the faith, does he share the faith? If you want children, does he want children? Is he into animals? You have to pick the top 3 must-haves. And the rest, you can figure out, it's negotiable. But you must be confident and pick at least 3 must-haves instead of being nitpicky about the situation. You see, some of my clients, my female clients, they tell me that their confidence at work is a lot higher than their dating confidence. Actually, their dating confidence is quite low. And it can be low in many areas of your life. However, you're not alone. You got to build your confidence. And this means getting a good book on confidence building, not spending a whole lot of money trying to go through a whole lot of resources. Just get a very practical book where you could do steps that could lead to increased confidence. See, nobody's harder than us on ourselves, right? We look at ourselves through a magnifying glass when it comes to judgment. We can really engage in a negative self-talk, and this does not help our confidence at all or our ability to believe in ourselves. Think about some of the things you say to yourself when it comes to men. Are you breaking yourself down? Are you telling yourself that you can't do it, or you shouldn't be considering it, or what's he going to think of me. See, we need to engage in the positive self talk. Affirmations is a wonderful way to do that. Immediate improvement in your self esteem and confidence can be related to your affirmations, right? Men, we can detect this low confidence from a mile away. You are not fooling anyone. So you got to take your time when you're single to improve yourself and work on your confidence. And if you have friends around you who are negative, and they can be a barrier to finding a great guy, think about that. Think about the friendships that you have. Someone who you contact and communicate with regularly, you start discussing your man with them, and for some reason you tend to take on this attitude that they're having, right? See, the problem is when your friends aren't in healthy relationships themselves and are emotionally unhealthy people, they have a tendency to influence your chances of actually finding a great guy. See, we have a tendency to lean on and draw on people who are most like us. So you have to look at your friends and why you're hanging out with them. See, if they're the type of friends who only want hookups, right? And they don't have a steady boyfriend, or if they are cheaters or have their own commitment issues, they're not the best ones to be around. Don't hang out with those type of friends. Make sure you understand. Birds of a feather flock together. Remember that. Don't try to change the formula because it will not work. Like minds think alike. And if you have someone who's looking for quick hang-ups, how are they going to influence you to be with someone who's long-term and steady, who is in a committed relationship, when you're just referring to someone who what? They just want a good time every once in a while. It's not a congruent thing. You aren't really supporting each other. Matter of fact, they're stopping you because some of the thoughts they're putting in your head. So you have to understand, what do I want? And how is this communication, this negative influence that I'm getting, going to help my situation? Well, it's not. But you're not being true to yourself. You're not being honest with yourself. You're thinking it's separate, where it's not. But then there's some of you that are out there saying, well, I've had that friend for so many years. Well, great. But however, if you want to take care of you, you have to change from within. And you have to be real with yourself. These friends have a tendency to bring you down. They're negative. So you got to find some positive friends. Find healthy relationships. Friends that you can hang out with that are of the same mentality. They think the same. They're looking for the connect. They're looking for a great guy as well, who have a positive outlook on life, that yes, they encourage you, not discourage. And what goes through your head anyways when it comes to men? Are you one of those closet man haters, right? You've been burned so many times by losers. You become a man hater. You've got these negative comments to say about men being dogs, etc. Or your perspective is, he was a jerk, they're all jerks. Do you find yourself saying things like, they all suck, they're all cheaters? You just might be a man hater. And it might be something that you're giving off without knowing it. Do you believe every breakup you've experienced is his fault? Or perhaps you hate every one of your exes, right? If this is you, and you're a man hater, and you're giving off that man hater vibe, this is problematic. This generalization, bad experiences, you become that person that believes that. So that stops you from attracting the right person. No, men aren't all bad. I'm telling you right now, they're not. There's some great men out there. Sure, there's some men out there that are really giving us a bad name. But why are you not drawing those good men to you? It could be because secretly inside you've been hurt so much that you need to get some perspective. And you need to reevaluate your thinking process, right? You need to boost your self esteem and your confidence. Losers are drawn to losers. And women who have low confidence, right, they tend to show it, they tend to give it off. And it could be the way they look, the certain things that they say. It's just an aura, whether it's being a little bit aggressive or being a little bit sarcastic or edgy. It's something that you have to learn to shed. Get rid of this man hater philosophy. Get rid of it. Eliminate it. Start to like men. Start to remove those negative experiences. Get rid of those men out of your head that were poisoning your mind, that things look great and then they turn out being jerks, and you know what? They're the problem. Well, no, the truth is a different mind frame is going to build you up. They're not all bad, and you've got to believe it, and you've got to have a positive outlook for the future. You see, sometimes when you're hanging out with your friends, you can even spot a great guy, right? So if you're with your friends and you've catch the attention of a great guy, you have to wonder, is he looking at you or is he looking at your friend? Well, there's ways that you can get this guy to pay attention to you. But first you have to understand how guys approach women. There's something going on in their mind. See, when you're with a group of friends, a man's thinking to himself, how am I going to approach this group? Well, basically, a man's going to approach a group in one of two ways. One is he's going to look at the group of friends, and you may be in that group of friends for sure. And he's going to figure out, for me to approach that group, I'm going to have to approach the person that's the most social. It's easy. The person who's a little bit more aggressive, but not too aggressive, right? But it's an easy way in. Someone who's social appears to men to be more receptive to approach. Guys just don't want to be rejected. And as well, he might approach the girl that is closest to him or who might have a spot available. So he's not going to approach the one he's interested in. 99% of the times, guys do not approach women in groups and immediately go to the one they're interested in. That's 99.9% of the time. So be mindful of this. They approach the group trying to find the easiest way in. You see, just because he approaches your friend, that doesn't necessarily mean that he likes her. He's just trying to find his way in. He's weighing his options. What you want to do is you want to make eye contact with this man and say something witty or smart to pique his interest, like, is my friend keeping you busy over here? And then next thing you know, you get his attention. And this is a great opportunity for him to get to know you instead of your friend. Now, if you want to get him to approach you instead, you want to make sure that you're not too bunched up amongst your friends. You want to be more open. Have your shoulders square, facing outward, so that he could be welcome to approach you. You don't want to be huddled up like a bunch of herded animals. Smile at him and make some eye contact. That's going to be more inviting. You see, the truth is, guys are going to possibly date the one who's more social and a little bit more aggressive. Not too aggressive, but you want to approach him and smile and allow him to engage you from that moment and keep his attention a little bit. And then once you get his attention, you can introduce him to your friends. You could say like, hey ladies, here's my new man. Isn't he fine? And then right there, he's going to love that. He's going to feel good. And actually, he's going to be actually into it, believe it or not. It's going to make him feel good. Great. And honestly, things will start from there. That confidence that you have is going to shine brightly. And it's going to work for you. You see, we need to talk about where you can find some of these men. Because they're great men everywhere, right? And they're looking for some women who have high self esteem. They want a confident woman, right? And you just need to understand, what does that confident woman look like? And if you're going to be that confident woman, you need to understand a few things. We're going to track down where these men are, for sure. But first, I got to talk to you about a few things. What is a confident woman, right? A confident woman is not a woman that's at this man's every beck and call. You know, a confident woman has things going on. She's available when she's available, right? She's not available for last minute dates. She sits at home because she wants to, not sit at home waiting for a man. That's not what she's doing, sitting around waiting. She understands that a confident man is interested in a woman who has an interesting life. She's involved in her community. She does some volunteering. She's actually engaged out there. She's got a life besides him. See, when you tell a man that you've got things to do, like on Saturday, you've got obligations such as walking the dog, attending maybe the shelter, or going scuba diving, and preparing for a trip to the Bahamas. See, that man's going to be interested in you in some sort of way. He's going to want to know a lot more about you. See, he's going to be intrigued. Also, make sure that you're the person that challenges him every once in a while. If you say that the Lakers are going to win the championship because of LeBron James, you might want to counter that with a comment regarding the Celtics, saying, no, you know what? I think the Celtics have a better chance of winning because they have Chris Gaines on their team, and he's wonderful, and he's won before. So you want to be that person that does challenge it. See, men admire it when you have your own opinion about things, right? They get really psyched when they know that they have somebody has their own thinking, their own mind, and they can stand up and present themselves as a confident woman. That's how you become more confident. Don't just be on his beck and call and saying everything that he says. It's not attractive at all. And make sure you set your boundaries. Having boundaries, especially at the beginning of the relationship and throughout, is important. Have those boundaries, right? Set those rules for yourself. Make sure that if he's showing up late all the time, or he doesn't want to call you, or he's not called you in a long period of time, that you're not just jumping in bed with him as soon as you see him because you miss him. Have some boundaries. Let him know that there will be consequences for some of this behavior. And see, a lot of these guys will test these boundaries just to see how far they can push it. See if there's going to be any resistance, And if you don't understand this, you're going to be subject to some serious consequences in the future because you haven't set the boundaries. So he thinks he can do whatever he wants to do. No. A confident woman sets boundaries and sticks by them right from the beginning. Don't make that mistake of just doing whatever he wants you to do. That's a problem. And make sure that your finances are in check. And I do mean that. Make sure that you could hold your own, that you're hustling, you're making your own money well before you get into a relationship with him. And I mean, yes, a lot of men, they want to be a part of families. They want to be the, what do they say, the income earner, right? They want to be able to take care of things, right? However, a lot of you women out there might feel, oh, you know what? I'm not going to be rich. I don't need to. No, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm saying you don't need to be rich. You need to be able to pay for your own half of the date and treat a man once in a while for a cup of coffee or something like that. But you do not want to be the one person who is looked up as a gold digger and he could throw it in your face, because sometimes they might do that. Or this is a big one. Let's say if he's paying for all the things because he feels that, you know what, I'm the man, right? They buy into this. I'm the man. I'm going to take care of this. Let me do it. Let me do this for you, baby. That's the least I can do. Well, be careful with that, because, once they start doing that, that gives them a lot of power. And once they feel that they have all the power, then they think that they can push. And that means they can push things on you because they feel that they're in control and you depend on them. So make sure your finances are in check because he doesn't want a gold digger. He doesn't want somebody who's going to be taking more than they give on any level. He's going to see that as inferior. And you are a confident woman. You are not just about that. And if something goes down, you don't want to be dependent on him, whereas you can't be free and open your mind to other possibilities. Don't be locked in. So make sure you always have your game tight. Your money is right. And make sure that you're not one of those jealous women, right? Confident woman doesn't compare herself to other women. It's a sign of low self-esteem and immaturity and insecurity. See, with confidence, you know that your uniqueness and your inner beauty, that personal power, they're enough for a worthy man. See, your strengths, and you know how to use those strengths, that's your advantage, right? You shouldn't be with a man who's on a date with you, who's always checking out other women, for sure. That's a given. You don't even date that guy more than once. You get rid of him. Show him the door if that's what he's doing, for sure. But being a confident woman means you have your self-worth and you know your value and you have understanding of the gifts and abilities you've been given. And a great man will explore that, appreciate it, and he won't have to be doing all that double checking, looking around for other women. If you have him with you and he's doing that, you know he's not for you. And you got to have confidence. I don't care how good he looks, you got to walk away. Because it is what it is. You're seeing what you're seeing and it's real. And even if you haven't been with anybody in a while and you got him sitting in front of you, but he's doing all that checking out or pretending not to check out, you see it, where they're acting like they're looking at you, but they're looking past you at the other table. Now, be secure in yourself. You ain't worried about that. But too much of that, no. Confident woman got to let it go. And the truth is, every once in a while, you're going to have to allow your man to take control. As a confident woman, you recognize your man's desire to provide for you by paying at times, opening a car door for you, and helping you out in general. It's okay to allow your man to take control on certain things, get the car fixed, or handle things that need to be handled. Allowing man to feel that he is in control. It pays off tremendously in a relationship. I'm not talking about having control you. Having him take some of those man responsibilities that he's supposed to be taking. Allow him to be the man. See, I think we've gotten away from that a little bit, right? We've gotten a little edgy or insultive in the sense of we're saying, oh, I can do it. Don't worry, I got it. And no, you don't want to be combative with your man. You want to work with him, but you got to let him play his role. And yes, I understand that you're a strong and confident woman and you need to be in control. Be in control at your workplace. That's great. However, understand how a man's ego works. And this is the truth. You may have to set your ego aside just for a while so that you understand your man. Because if you don't understand your man and you try to take control too much in the relationship, your guy may feel emasculated. And ultimately, he's going to walk. He's going to leave. Let him plan some dates. Choose what you do on a Friday night sometimes. Allow him to choose which shirt he wears when he goes out, right? Give him that confidence. But you maintain your confidence because you're educated and you understand and you realize, hey, there's a process to this thing. See, you asked the counselor to help you out with getting that good guy. And I'm going to tell you what you might not want to hear. But the truth is, a lot of them, men, need to feel their worth. And if they're battling with you all the time, not challenging, battling, then they don't feel their worth. And they get damaged. And then they feel, oh, I'm not a man. I don't feel like a man because I don't have any say. And then they run. You see, the truth is, as a confident woman, you always have to make sure you have options. You might have to go on a date with a few guys. Take some steps back. Wait and see if they're worthy of you first. Be patient, right? You're busy. You're an interesting, upstanding woman. You don't fall for the first man you see. You date, get to learn, to sit back and observe, right? You want to have a lengthy relationship. One of the easiest traps to fall into is having a man in your life that could just fill your void. No, you want to encourage men before you settle on one. Date a type of guy you never thought you'd be interested in. Check out what options you may have before you settle down. This is a process, people. Take your time. That's confidence. Understanding that you have options. Don't be desperate Denise. Okay? You see, confidence does wonders for you. Those are the things that you're going to have to do on a minimum level. However, where do we find these guys? How are we actually going to get these guys? Where are they? Where are these great guys that we want? We want to know. And I would have to tell you that one way to find a boyfriend or a great guy is the old-fashioned way. And I suggest what you do, instead of being on the internet or getting that cell phone, before this even was around, women and men used to meet in more traditional ways. See, finding a guy, you have to actually think. You got to brainstorm and come up with a number of ideas. Let's say for hobbies, come up with at least 30 to 40 different hobbies, things that you're passionate about, right? Some things that have some sort of adventure to them. And you're going to have to narrow this list down to approximately about 10. And maybe even go on the website, meetup.com, for example, and other resources, so that you could go through these ideas and understand that some of these men are out there in these places. See, when you go and get into some of the hobbies and things that you're passionate about, especially in these groups and these events, and you understand that you are exposing yourself to these new groups of people that you have in common with things. This takes the pressure off of meeting a man and helps you focus your energy on what you love. Finding a guy becomes the byproduct, not the goal. Find a guy at the shelter. I don't mean the homeless shelter. I mean somebody who might be volunteering. He could be at the shelter doing some work, serving at the local soup kitchen or walking dogs. See, when you're confident, you're participating in activities and you have things in your life that you're passionate about. It could be tutoring at the church. Guys who have passions, who want to help youth, want to help families, who are committed to the community. These are opportunities to build relationships, right? It gives you an opportunity to get involved and active and meet guys who are passionate about things that you're passionate about. But the key is find your passion and go towards those activities, right? Finding great guys can be a challenge. However, when you have your passion, your activities, you're interesting, you're active, they are out there. You just have to get out there more and be a part of the environment. Be adventurous. Don't be afraid to be adventurous. It's a guy we're talking about. A lot of them like to be outdoors, get active. They like to hike. They like to do some trail walking, biking, hiking, kayaking, hanging out at the beach, interested in cars. Yes, I said it. Cars. It might not be your thing, but it's something you might have to get into, like antique cars. They have their shows. Go to some of the shows. Get together with people who are interested in these things, form a community group, an alliance. Get things done. Get out there in life. Do things that are adventurous. You want to be out there experiencing life. No man is going to be sitting in your kitchen when you come home. So if you're at home all the time, what do you expect? You're not out there. You're not active. You're not trying. You're actually sitting there waiting. Oh, you've gone on a date here, but you're not actively involved in life. You're actually seeking and hunting. So your focus is just where is he? So you're just going to the places that you think are going to be the easiest to pick up men. However, you have to understand that this is a whole process, and being adventurous is part of it. And how do you get these guys interested in you to begin with? I think a lot of it is about your mindset. I think understanding that if you manage your mood, yeah, like making your mood a priority, this will really work for you. It's very attractive to men. Like, men are instinctively attracted to happy women. See, when you're in a good mood, he feels this pleasant vibe when he's around. As well as having fun. Do things to have fun. Do things that you enjoy. Take time out to do fun things. Whether you're going to a friend's, having a good time, family, just have some fun. Experience life in the moment. Don't dwell on trivial things that do not matter. If you genuinely are a happy, healthy person, this shines through and it's much more attractive to men. And just make sure that you don't compare yourself to other women. We have an instinct to do that, ladies. In general, maybe if you see another woman and you think to yourself, if I only had this or if I only had that. No, don't do that. It's not attractive. It's actually a negative, you know, because when you compare yourself, all you do is make yourself feel more miserable and frustrated. And you want to be your best self. So focus on things that you can control and improve in your life. This will make you feel much better. And make sure that you're doing things that are comfortable for you. You don't have to wear silly clothes or engage in any of that sensual, super sexy, risky behavior to attract a man. You don't want to do that. You don't need to do that. Forget those things. Just do things that are completely comfortable for you. And this means, essentially, when it comes to being attracted to a man, if you are comfortable, you will find that everything you do is naturally and effortlessly more attractive to men. So don't think that you have to do anything that makes you feel awkward and unnatural, because this will not help you at all. Know yourself. Self-discovery is an ongoing process that we all go through in our lives. We are always growing and changing as people. It's important. This is a very important step when it comes to being attractive to men. Getting to know yourself as much as you can. And this will automatically make you feel much more confident and comfortable. Knowing yourself is knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and being able to identify what you are good at and what you aren't necessarily so great at. You know, this mindset, you know, you're going to make men more attractive to you when you understand who you are. And when it comes to appearance, it does matter. Obviously, your physical appearance is something to be addressed, especially when it comes to making men attracted to you. It's just a fact of life. They're human beings and they are visual creatures, men. And there's certain things that a man is going to respond to whether he wants to or not. This is information, it's true, you know, and you have to accept that. But going extravagantly and doing all these crazy things to yourself, no, that's not what I'm talking about. So even when it comes to makeup, every man has different preferences when it comes to makeup. But there is a consistent theme with what most men seem to find attractive. Like when a woman puts in an effort to do makeup that enhances how she already looks, but does not pile on the foundation and add a bunch of different powders and whatnot. And, you know, this is seen as fake eyelashes, a ton of fake tanner, and so much makeup that it's obvious from a mile away. Men, they don't they don't respond well to this when it's too much. They prefer a little bit less. Good application of makeup can certainly transform a woman's look. So definitely don't be afraid to put on makeup. However, you don't want to put on so much so that you pile it on to a point that you're a whole different person when you take it off. See, you got interested in this man, so you did yourself all up to the point that you went Vegas on him instead of the hometown girl. You got to find the balance. You got to take it easy, because once the Vegas girl is gone and he sees you for, ooh, believe it or not, they're visual learners, right? So he's going to see somebody else and go, ooh, what happened to the Vegas girl? Now I got the home girl. It matters. Whether you want to believe it or not, it does matter. Don't try to transform yourself, whereas you can't be who you are in all environments. Keep it real. And by real, I mean real, real. I mean, we talk about fitness, health, diet, and I don't want women out there getting the impression that for a man you got to be super skinny. No, but you got to be healthy. You got to make sure that you're as fit as you possibly can be within reason. All right? Looking your best. Eating healthy, listening to your body. Don't try to look unnatural. Look natural as you can. Don't go overboard. You know, you don't starve yourself for the sake of beauty or for this man. Don't get engaged in those behaviors that are unhealthy for yourself. Eat healthy, right? Keep yourself up, keep yourself balanced. Take care of yourself for sure. And the truth is, if you're one of those women that is stating, oh, you know what, I'm not really focusing on that. I'm not going overboard just for no man. Well, if you want a man, you have to consider what a man's looking for. And what a man does want is he want a woman that takes care of herself. And that's just the truth. And you have to do it. So you might have to go out there and get a stylist if your style's not kicking, if you just got your casual wear all the time. Sometimes you have to go and get some help. We got to invest in ourselves a little bit. I'm not saying go out there and get all these surgeries and all that. No, but your style could be simpler, could be more attractive. Maybe there's something that you've been wearing all the time or doing all the time that's not attracting the men. Maybe you might need some professional help to talk about it, right? Talk about what issues you might have to get them off the shelf. You understand, to clear up your mind for receiving a great man, a great guy. But your fitness and your health is definitely one. Taking care of yourself and making sure that you're doing what you can to keep yourself up. He will appreciate that. You see, when it comes to dressing, the ideal way to dress is a combination of sexy and leaving something to the imagination. But importantly, find clothing that fits your body well and makes you feel good. I'm not talking about, getting out there and getting stripper heels and going through that. No, we're not talking about that at all. But learn to look good and you will be understood. And when it comes to your hair, it's different for different men. Different men have different preferences when it comes to hair. Just make sure you feel good about it. Whether it's simple, layered, medium, long, short, shorter hair. Just feel good. Make an effort when it comes to taking care of your hair. That's all. And your smell, perfume is something that a lot of women overdo. Most men do not like very strong perfume. So you're better off just sticking with something that's very light and very conservative. It might even be a spray. Be clean. Obviously, this is important. It should go without saying. Be clean, smell good. However, drenching yourself in perfume is not attractive at all. Many men like the smell of that shampoo. Those products, those things bring a nice, healthy smell. And really, the point I'm trying to make is less is more. And what about the hair down there? This is an individual preference as well, depending upon the situation. You really only need to focus on taking care of this part of your body in terms of hair and doing something. Unless you're going to keep all your hair, rare these days, but This is an individual thing. However, if you have a guy that likes it shaved, do it. But the point is, you feeling sexy, it's really about you. But just keep yourself groomed. It's important to do that. You know, makes yourself feel sexy for him, but for yourself, most importantly. Just keep it trimmed. You see, the counselor is at this risky point. Now we're going to have some risky conversation. And if you're not comfortable with it, you don't apply it. But if you want to know about it, here we are. And we're going to be talking about some things that might make some of you feel rather uncomfortable. Others may be more comfortable with it, but it's the truth if you want to know it. And the counselor is committed to giving you the truth. So I'm going to give you a little bit of tips here on things you could do in your relationship to keep that attractiveness or to get it going. But one thing is, like you heard the saying, be a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets. Well, this is serious. This attracts men once you've established your relationship. A woman who's presentable in one way, but when she's interacting with the world behind closed doors, it brings out an entirely different wild sexual side. Being able to be truly you in the bedroom is going to make your sexual relationship and your passion a lot more enjoyable, more fun for both of you. Holding back out of fear of being judged and being awkward will only do a disservice to both of you. You know, like, it might not be comfortable for you, but it might take a few steps, small steps, to find a way to become comfortable. Like letting go. And you will notice how much this turns a man on. Do what feels natural, not what you think you're supposed to do. Make pleasure a priority too. It's very important. See, some people only care about their own pleasure and others only care about the other person's pleasures. What's the most attractive way to focus on pleasure? Focus on both your pleasure as well as his. Make your own pleasure a priority without ignoring the fact that you want him to feel satisfied at the same time. Ignoring your pleasure is going to do you a disservice because you're going to be missing out on some good feelings, and you'll also lose the opportunity to turn him on. See, most men are turned on when they can make a woman feel genuine pleasure. And do not fake it, because most men can tell. They really can. You know, whether they care or not, but it's not good for you because you're not being genuine. A lot of them, let's be honest, they don't care if you fake it or not. They want to get theirs. All right? And that's the reality of it. But don't fake it. Be genuine. Doesn't make him feel good because most of them can pick up on it. Right? But tease them a little. This is a little bit tricky because there's a fine line between good teasing that drives a man crazy in a good way and bad teasing that makes a man frustrated and annoyed. See, if you're into him and feel sexually attracted to him, let the attraction build up by touching him gently throughout your interactions with him. Start with innocent touches and be very nonchalant and natural when you do it. Right? If you sit next to each other, you kind of inch your way a little bit closer. Right? Leg against leg. Don't say a word about it. Just enjoy the moment. Casually touching thighs. Oh my goodness, we could go there. Don't be afraid to take care of yourself. When it comes to being attractive to men, all women are different in terms of what makes them uniquely attractive. Some are more innocent and cutesy. Others are more seductive and intense. Others have a combination of all these things. Some are more outgoing and expressive. Others are more shy and want a man to take control. Some women are completely unafraid to take control, and others like to be dominated. The point is, let's find a way that you feel comfortable with and realize that some men will be extremely attracted to you in this particular aspects of your personality. They'll love. So there's no use trying to be different than how you naturally are, because this is what makes most men find you attractive. A woman who is being genuine and true to herself is very attractive. And he desires that. You see, trying to get a man attracted to you is not necessarily easy because men can be hard to read. However, it's important for you not to be playing mind games, right? There's a guy eyeing you, catches your attention. You want to keep it simple. Smile. Go to places that make you happy, where men happen to be, right? But smile. A man is going to notice a woman who's having a good time and relaxing. Don't hide away in corners. Stay away from hiding yourself in the corner with furniture and plants. It's important to find something useful to do wherever you are because guys will notice you're being active or inactive, right? So try not to play hide and seek. And sometimes, I know it's a little challenging for some women out there, but don't be afraid to ask for his help. It sounds so traditional, right? Men really like being helpful. Open up about challenging situations at work or ask him for some help. Think of whatever you can ask him that makes him think he's smart. Other than what he eats or his helpfulness, get him involved. Ask for help. Talk about your hobbies. Talk about things you like to do, like keeping fresh flowers or your style or your business dreams or your aspirations, right? Things that help you. This might not seem so significant, but talking about your hobbies helps, right? Don't dress for your girlfriends. Don't do that. A lot of you do that too much. Guys don't understand fashion trends. So some of the best ways is for you to catch a man's attention by wearing something a little timeless, a classic outfit that is comfortable. Be fashionable. Be sexy. Oh, yes, for sure. Right? Be you. Be genuine. Know what you like, but know what works for you as well. That's so important. Knowing what works for you. Right? And look this man in the eye. Direct eye contact, right? Some friendly eye to eye, letting him know you're interested. Don't be afraid to eye flirt across the room. Get that eye. How many of you, when I look at you, you're looking the other way? Well, be brave. Be a little risque. Show some interest. Oh, I know it's not easy to do. Oh, no, not at all for a lot of you. But a little bit of eye contact, right? Lets them know something, right? And avoid being the obvious. Don't name drop, right? If a man compliments something you're wearing, you shouldn't name drop the brand because you might come off as a little bit materialistic, you know. Don't do that. It looks too gold diggerish, right? And the same goes for what you're eating and what you're drinking. Even if you go to the coolest bars and the restaurants, you should talk about more quaint locations rather than the most popular. You might get the impression that you're a bar hopper, and you really don't want to give them that impression. So keep the name dropping down. And when you do go out, just make sure that you go out alone or with one other friend, right? Going in a group of girls is a little bit more challenging to men. It makes him work a little bit harder, right? He's got to figure out how to penetrate that group. And unless you're a well experienced man and you're very comfortable and confident in yourself, you're not going to know how to approach a group. So keep this in mind. A lot of men aren't that confident. Not all men. But there will be a number of really great guys who aren't so confident. So when you do go out alone. Go with one friend. Keep things simple. And the research has shown that men really appreciate and are attracted to women who say thank you. It turns out that men actually get annoyed when women don't say thank you, right? You don't even have to say it in person, so if you do get his number, text it after he buys you a drink or gives you a gift. Say thank you. And one thing that I find is a little challenging and quite disturbing is women who are addicted to their phones. Stay off your phones. How many of you women are staring at your phones? Right? Your head's down, you're Instagramming, right? Or communicating with a friend who's just texted you while there's someone right in front of you. You're in an elevator and you got the phone in your hand. You're making an effort not to look at your phone or see who's around. However, you're constantly on your phone. Well, that's a real turn off for men, right? Women do not pick up on this. You're sitting in a car, all you're doing is texting on the phone. He's talking, but you're just texting, looking at your phone. You're doing a Snapchat or taking a selfie. That phone could be a deterrent for men because it shows them that you're not really interested in them. You actually have other things on your mind. And believe it or not, for whatever reason, the men love to be the center of attention. So if they don't think you're giving them the attention, maybe you're doing it purposely. Maybe you're on your phone in front of them purposely. Maybe you're really not interested. Well, that is one sure way to guarantee that you won't find a great guy if you're addicted to your cell phone. Now, one thing that we do have to keep in mind is that the realistic possibility of people going to bars to hook up or meet people, people do meet people not just for hookups at bar, but it's just how you go about doing it. There are men at the bar, and there may be great men at the bar. However, if you have your priorities in check, you ain't got to worry about the hookup. You got to be aware of it. But one strategy that you can use if you go to the bar is bring a book to the bar. And you probably say, what? Bring a book to the bar? That doesn't even make sense. Bring a book to read at the bar. You see, guys are looking for a reason to come up to you, right? And if you're reading something or having a sketchbook or a journal or whatever it is, they could approach you. Maybe talking about, hey, what are you reading? And it just starts a conversation. Also makes you look quite interesting. Right? But just bring a book. Could be a magazine you're looking through, acting like you're waiting for someone. Oh, yeah, we got to play the role. Right? And, hey, since we're playing the role, how about wearing some funky jewelry? Men will approach you with a comment or a question. Wear something that stands out, that they can attract themselves to. Give them an in. Catch their eye. Right? You wearing something eye-catching and shiny, he'll be able to use this as a conversation opener. Wear your biggest ring or your most interesting earrings. Do that. You can hit two birds with one stone by having a cute accessory for your outfit. A conversation piece. You are drawing someone in for the conversation. And that's what 99% of men want, is they want an in. And if you want to attract them to you, you have to put some effort in. Right? That is a beautiful thing. So just understanding these techniques is a wonderful thing for you to do. You see, we've had some great conversation today. And I want to say there are so many ideas that we have that we could use, but I would say above all else, be genuine, be patient, learn to know yourself, and remember, go for your passion. Find it in hobbies. Remember, you're dealing with men who are active. They're adventurous. So if you have passions for adventurous activities, go for it. You'll find men there that have the same passion, whether you're volunteering in the community or you're a part of your community. It's a great way to meet men. Go for your strengths when it comes to knowing who you are and what you're passionate about, and work on some of your weaknesses. And through that work, you can gain some beautiful relationships. Just understand who you are. And don't be afraid to put work into building yourself up. And what I always say is confidence, confidence, confidence. Men are attracted to confident women, high value women who have their self-esteem in check, not who have low self-esteem. So you're going to have to build it up, not overconfident. And we've talked about ways to build confidence in this podcast. And I want you to take some of it seriously, because if you want a high value man, you have to be a high value woman. And you have to be genuine to yourself. And sometimes you're going to have to look for that truth. Are you listening to what other people say? Are you hanging around with people who are single, who are just looking for hookups? Are you with people who are messing around so much with married men, and they're your friends and they're good friends, but they're, getting involved in other people's relationships, not even showing them respect, but you're their good friend and you're looking past that because you want them to be your good friend. Birds of a feather flock together. Go around people who have that positive mindset, encourage you, not discourage you. And make sure that you are doing your affirmations. I'm worthy. I'm going to find a good man. And I'm going to put in the work. And they're out there. Don't be a man hater. There are too many man haters out there. Get rid of that. If you've had bad relationships in the past, leave them in the past. Learn how to shed. Don't compare your man, your future man, to your past man. Give men a chance. Learn where to go, what to do. We've had some great conversations, and I want to say thank you. So be like the wise old bird and spread the word. The counselor will talk to you again. Take care of yourself.